Welcome to our round 18 tips, and once again, Gilly and I have been on fire. Well,
I have been.
Well, Gilly has been anyway. Because last week, Gilly 5 from 7, myself 4 from 7.
Yeah, okay.
It's not too bad, but
No,
it's in the overall.
You still lost though.
It's in the overall stakes where I'm losing, and look, this will sound wrong, but you're 11, I'm 7, because we both tipped a round together. And anyway, look, but I think the long and the short of it is, you almost have an unassailable lead.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not, you keep your chin up, make sure.
Oh, so we get modest now. Oh, dear.
Keep your chin up, you can get there, Shane.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, no,
every child wins a prize, mate.
Thanks, Uncle Trevor. Feel really good about it. Anyway, let's get into this. Round 18, first game will be on Thursday at PointsBet Stadium.
Yep.
It is the Sharks up against the St George Illawarra Dragons, who lost and well and truly lost last week. 30 points to the Warriors. Of course, the Sharks coming off a bye. We've both gone with them, and I think that sort of speaks for itself.
Well, I just wonder if the Benny Hunt thing now that he's staying, and if that kind of helps him out a bit, the Dragons.
Well, I think it depends more on how they got him to stay. If he's staying willingly because of some problem they've sorted out. But look, if you think about Ben Hunt, and you know probably better than I do, I don't think I think if he's decided to stay, he'll put his head down and go and play footy. And that can only help them.
Well, during the second Origin, mate, it didn't faze him.
No.
Lucky enough to go down there and have a yarn with him, and he was fantastic.
Yep. Anyway, our second game is one of those teams we were just talking about, the Warriors, who are up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, obviously, the Warriors found some good stuff, whereas the Rabbitohs were just the opposite. How bad were they against the Cowboys?
They've hit a wall for some reason. I know Latrell Mitchell not. And obviously.
But it's as you keep saying, no Latrell, no South. Sadly.
And Joy Arrow is a big loss too as well. But geez, mate, honestly, they were looking like a top 4 team for sure.
Well, they want to get cracking, although they're a long way from being a top 4 team. But we're both on the Warriors, obviously. The other Friday game is at Marvel Stadium. It's the Panthers up against the Storm, who beat Manly well and truly down there in Melbourne. And interestingly enough, the Panthers, who are also coming off a win, they beat the Knights by 8, but they rested all their Origin players.
Exactly. Well, that's scary, isn't it?
It is scary, and I think for that reason we both tipped the Knights, and that's actually. Usually,
the Panthers, you mean?
Sorry, both tipped the Panthers. Which is unusual for me because I'm a lover of the Storm, as you realise. But I just feel like Panthers, if you win like that when you don't have your best players and you get them back, I sort of feel like that's a bit irresistible.
Well, that puts pressure actually on your number 1 players, doesn't it? Because they go, someone's snapping at your heels and going, oh, this young bloke goes all right, so I better have a crack here.
Absolutely. No, but that will be a good game nonetheless. 2 our Saturday games, the first of which is the Raiders up against the Titans. Now, both last start winners. The Raiders got over the Roosters by 2 points, obviously a close game. And the Titans won that local derby, which I don't think any of us expected.
They were Kevy was right, though. They were very ordinary. Like they didn't... I don't think they had any respect for the Titans. They put 40 on them or whatever it was.
And that's what I was about to say. I think that match and that score is a reflection of how poor the Broncos were, not how good the Titans played. And for that reason, we're both on the Raiders. We've actually agreed on the first 6 games this week.
Well, Josh Papali'i as well is out with that hamstring problem for the Raiders. He'll be a big loss for them.
And yet you still tipped them.
Yeah, I know, But,
see, when you tip a side, what you meant to do is talk about the positives. You always manage to...
And Tino will come back for the Titans.
It's like you're feeling bad because you didn't tip your beloved Titans, which you managed to stick to.
Fair income.
Like mud to a blanket.
That's right.
But no, anyway,
Move on.
Okay. Our next Saturday game is in Townsville. It's the Cowboys up against the Tigers. The Tigers off a bye, and of course the Cowboys touched up the Rabbitohs, who were ordinary. So it's hard to read any form into that. But nonetheless, we're both going with them, and I think they'll get it done pretty well, particularly up there.
Especially with that Origin players back, and how good was Reuben Cotter, Jeremiah Nanai, mate. They're the type of blokes, Webby, that you love to play with, wouldn't they? Because they have a crack all the time.
But Cotter's the best example I think of. He's not necessarily the flashiest bloke on the field, but he just keeps on coming.
And gets everything out of his
and players, body, and exactly right, players love playing with them because you always know they give 100%.
Yep, and I wish I had a good mullet like that too.
It's a beautiful haircut, isn't it? I've had the ability to grow a mullet like that, but...
I had a bit of a mullet years ago.
Yeah, no, we've heard it.
We won't go there.
That's fine. Okay, our next game, our last Saturday game, the Bronx up against the Dolphins at the Gabba.
Yes.
The first time ever in Brisbane. football, rugby league is getting played at the Gabba. So that in itself is a momentous thing. It's a local derby of sorts. It's the other local derby we have here. And look, the poor old Dolphins just got annihilated by the Eels last week. And, of course, Bronx coming off what I'm going to call a cheap loss. In as much as that they weren't beaten as much as they beat themselves. So for that reason, we both tipped them. The Dolphins, and can I say this? We always thought, I reckon, anyone who follows footy with any sort of consistency would always think that, okay,
they're going to hit the wall at some
stage. They might have overachieved a little bit in these earlier rounds, and they're always going to hit the wall. What I don't think will happen is this will become their norm. I don't think that will be allowed to happen. But nonetheless, I think in the next few weeks is going to be pretty tough for them.
Oh, mate, I've loved what the Dolphins have done. But Kevy's, the way he's sprayed the boys there after the game, or how disappointed he was after the game, I think you'll see a bounce back factor.
And I think the other thing is, if the Bronx are half the team they think they are, it shouldn't take Kevy to get them to bounce back.
No, I know
those players should be bouncing back hard themselves.
And
look, I sort of feel like they will.
Well, they should be ready to play tomorrow, shouldn't they?
Well, you'd reckon. You'd want to get out there and atone for that. To our Sunday games, the Bulldogs up against the Knights, and this is where we start to differ. Of course, the Knights lost to the Panthers by 8, and I'm struggling to realise why I've tipped this way, because I was going to say to lose by the Panthers by 8 is obviously a pretty tight game, but of course the Panthers didn't have all their best players. But I've tipped them anyway. This is what I do. You're on the Dogs who had a bye. I am stupid. I don't. How did I make? Can I change that? Am I allowed to change that? Is it too early?
You need a HIA. You got a HIA or something.
They should have that protocol when I was playing. I wouldn't be making tips like that. No wonder I'm bloody well losing this.
Well, I don't know. See now we're going to.
Well, tell us why the Dogs are going to win then.
Well, I just think that the Doggies, I like their forward pack. They're way big. They haven't, obviously won a heap of games, but they're toilers. They have a crack. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean they're going to win all the time. Yeah, no. They always have a crack.
No, well, I clearly think.
I reckon a couple of years' time. Give them another 2 years' time with a couple of new players. I think they'll go really good.
Now you're a psychic.
Oh, well,
OK, last game of the round is at 4 Points Park. It is Manly up against the Roosters. I've gone with the Roosters, who lost to the Raiders by 2 points. And I think this is a better tip from me. Manly, who lost to the Storm by 18 and lost proper well. I sort of think that maybe I've done the better of the tipping in this one.
No, I'm not sure about that.
Well, OK. That's why Manly are so good. They just got
I tipped the Roosters last week, and fair dinkum.
But they lost by 2 points.
Yeah, they're so disappointing, mate. They're disappointing, the Roosters. And at the moment...
I see what's happening here. They sacked you when you were playing there. So it's a bit of retribution. Don't want to tip anymore because one of the many clubs. If you're going to go with that, you can't tip anybody.
No, please, mate. I left the Roosters on my own accord, please.
This is what your story is. We're not hearing anything.
I was captain at the time, but anyway. No.
So why did they let their captain go? We don't know. But anyway.
Manly are hot and cold, and DCE, I reckon, the way he's been playing is sensational. Ruben Garrick at fullback, obviously Tommy Turbo will be out for the rest of the year, and I think Ruben Garrick's playing sensational footy. He's got that spot now for him for the rest of the season.
But if I think about a real reason that I wouldn't pick him, it is because of Travojevic being out. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
And I just realised that was the case when you said it, so...
Well... The thing for the Roosters with me at the moment is Joseph Manu. Like, he's a great player. To me, he's not a 6. I know they've been playing him in the centres, and he played fullback when Teddy wasn't there. He's a sensational player. Won the Golden Boot last year, and was great for New Zealand in the World Cup. So finding his position at the moment seems to be a bit of a dilemma for Trent Robinson. So yeah, I don't know. There's something going on at the Roosters that it's not real good.
Well, of course, for those of you us watching it, the dilemma for you is do you keep listening to our drivel week after week? And as you can tell, the banter is getting worse.
And here
we'll see how this week goes.
Stick with the strength, you'll be right.
Exactly. We'll see you next week.